stress. How many of y'all feel stressed on a daily basis? Raise your hands. Oh, Everett, you are like into it. I feel that. So stress is defined as the events that cause physical or psychological reactions and the reactions themselves. And so some of these events could include you, especially as students, having a really hard test and forgetting about it and not studying for it and then being like, oh my gosh, I have a test today. Or it could be like an emergency happening to where that's totally unexpected and you had plans and then all your plans have to be canceled because you have to focus on something. Y'all know about those, right? We have those quite a lot. And then the reactions that these cause, can be an upset stomach if you're nervous for a test. You could react in anger. I know I tend to do that. And I know I do, you know that. And also, there could be major health problems that could be associated with stress if you were just continually stressed all the time. And this could include, you could gain a lot of weight, you could also, your blood pressure could rise, and that's really dangerous. And you could also develop heart problems. And so, because major health problems develop due to stress that's constant, even though the stress may not be from the same thing, if you're constantly stressed, you will develop health problems. So handling it efficiently is important. And so there are 3 ways that you can handle it efficiently. And so one of those ways is just by identifying a problem and figuring out how to solve it. And so how many of y'all feel like when you get stressed, everything is just stressful and you don't know what is causing it? Yeah, I feel that too sometimes. And so that's why it's really important to really get to the root of the problem and determine what is causing the stress and then eliminating that. And so that, for example, if you have a really hard test, then you know it's coming up. That means studying for it a few days in advance. Or if you constantly are forgetting about tests, writing them in a planner. That way you won't ever forget and then you won't find yourself in that same situation. Just planning well. And also, if an emergency happens, maybe figuring out a way to cool down, maybe taking a minute to breathe before you go back into a room and handle a problem. So that's one way, is figuring out the problem. The second way is integrating an exercise routine into your daily life. So studies have proven that 25% of Americans experience substantially less stress when they exercise from 3 to 8 hours a week. And so this doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, it could be walking around the block, or it could be watching a YouTube video about exercising and following along. You don't have to have a gym membership, because I know many of you as students can't afford one and don't have cars to get there, because y'all are under 16.
And we're
And
sister.
so, what?
And we're
Yes, anyways. And so because of that, you don't have to have anything fancy. Just get your body moving. That's the main point. And the third way is involving others. So biblically, it's proven that if you have a community of others, you will not fall as likely. In Ephesians 4:9-10, it says, "For 2 are better than 1, for they have a good reward for their toil. For woe to him who is alone and falls and has not another to lift him up." And so because of it's biblically proven, and we know that everything in the Bible is true, it's really important. That is probably the most important one. If you bring your family and your friends alongside of you and say, hey, I'm stressed, instead of telling them in anger, leave me alone, you're more able to deal with your stress in a better way. And so, anyways, stress is really stressful, obviously, and it can cause health problems such as an upset stomach or even a high blood pressure. And while both are uncomfortable, one is dangerous and takes a longer time to occur. That's why it's important now when you're young to identify the problems, involve others, and start exercising to help eliminate your stress. And how long was